Yo guys, so I think this is the long-awaited booking day for Chuan. Everyone's been waiting for very long, and this will be happening this Sunday. So today's video, right, I'll be just sharing with you a couple of things. Firstly will be the balloting strategy that I've gone through with my clients. So this one I think is something to take note because most of the buyers that went for Chuan balloting, most likely they will have also placed a check for Emerald of Katong. So I just want to go through with you what is some of the buyers are thinking, what is the buyer's behavior. Then second thing is things that I have already prepared for my clients. So this one I think will be in terms of booking day, the strategy, which facing, etc. You already have it in place, and then what is the elimination process that I will already planned out for my clients. And the last thing is also things for my client to take note, or rather future buyers that are looking at Chuan for this Sunday. So I think at least you have all this in mind, right? It'll be a very straightforward and hopefully easy decision for you to make on the booking day itself. And if you found my sharing today useful and you feel like you want a second opinion for the upcoming Emerald of Katong or Nava Grove launch next week, feel free to let me know, because I'm quite sure these are all very useful things that I think you minimally must cover before you even go for the booking day itself. Alright, so now we look at the Chuan booking day strategies. So I think the very first question you guys must ask yourself is, what is the check probability, right, when it comes to Emerald of Katong and Chuan? Do you think Emerald of Katong is going to be more popular or Chuan is going to be more popular? And at the same time, from agent's point of view on the ground, right, it does seems like Emerald of Katong is more popular, and also very likely there will be more checks for Emerald of Katong. But at the same time, there will be a lot of duplicates, because most likely people that put Chuan they will also put for Emerald of Katong. So there will be like double amount of checks. So I think after this weekend, if you feel like maybe you didn't get a good number for Chuan, then you will go for Emerald of Katong. So, but at the same time, you must understand that the people that already put for Chuan and Emerald of Katong, but then they already booked for a unit for Chuan, right? You have to minus off that number of checks, because very likely the buyers who already bought Chuan, they won't be able to buy Emerald of Katong. So I feel like Emerald of Katong, the check numbers might be slightly inflated, but the same can be said for Chuan. There will be people that also put for Chuan, but if they didn't get a good ballot number, very likely they will still fall back on Emerald of Katong because they didn't manage to buy any unit at Chuan. So I think this is something that you have to think about it, especially if you are going to book a unit this Sunday. Okay, so on the ground, I do feel like Emerald of Katong feels more popular because it is a very similar price point, right? One is at Katong area and then one is at Lorong Chuan area. So I think on the ground, it does feel like more people are more receptive towards the Katong area if everything else is equal. Alright, so this is the ballot number strategy that I came up with. I think this matrix is kind of interesting to look at. It's kind of like the prisoner's dilemma kind of thing. So today, right, I just assume certain scenarios. So first one is, if today, right, Chuan you have a good ballot number, then very likely you will go for Chuan. Okay, so this is the other scenario. If let's say you have a good ballot number at Chuan and you feel like, actually, I still resonate with EOK's area more, I don't really want to buy Chuan 1, but it's just that I wanted to see my number. But in the end, it just feel like, I still prefer Emerald of Katong's area, but since I have a good ballot number at Chuan, I will still forgo my good ballot number. So there will be instances like this. I'm not surprised. Or maybe the ballot number is good, but you are just aiming for the very entry level for certain bedrooms. Then you will still forgo the unit. So I think there will be people like this that put in a check for Chuan, and in the end they still prefer Emerald of Katong. Okay, so that's scenario 1. Okay, now for scenario 2. If let's say you get a bad ballot number for Chuan, which is over here, so in the end you might look to buy either Chuan, or you probably just don't bother and never buy Chuan. Yeah, so I think this will be the main possibilities. Then if you have a bad ballot number, right, very likely I feel like you will be no choice and you have to go for Emerald of Katong. So I think this is a very bad mentality. If let's say you have a bad ballot number and then you didn't get any unit at Chuan, right, then you feel like, wow, no matter what, you must go for Emerald of Katong already, because you already know that this two is like the most, this two is like the mega launch of the year, and then if you don't go for Chuan, then you no choice, you have to go for Emerald of Katong. But I feel like this one is a very bad strategy because you have to think about it, right? Actually, there is the last possibility of didn't buy either Emerald of Katong or Chuan because of both having bad ballot numbers. So I think this one is really something that you have to bear in mind, because I do feel that if you have certain strategies or Walkaway price in place already, right, then you know for yourself, even though you didn't manage to get a unit at Chuan, and then right now maybe your ballot number for AOK is not even that good, but you still don't have to go for that, because I just feel like buying through FOMO, right, you make a worse decision than just buying off one of the mega launches of the year. So I think this is something you really need to bear in mind, because I definitely think that for my clients, I always preach it's okay to always walk away even if you didn't manage to buy any unit, because as long as you have your own like PSF or quantum that you're looking at to walk away from, right, then I think you won't regret your decision. But I always see after the booking day, there will be people that in the end still forfeit their unit. Like let's say the most recent one we are looking at, Norwood Grand. So there was, I think, 4 units that was bounced out from the actual day. So means that the buyers they put in 5%, and then in the end they had to forfeit 1.25% from the total of 5%. So I think this is totally not worth it, and this can be easily prevented if you already have certain frameworks in place and you never buy due to FOMO. So I think for my clients, I don't want them to lose this 1.25%. So we already have very good strategies in place. So this is to make sure you are not overwhelmed by the emotions of the actual booking day itself. Okay, so right now I'm just gonna touch a little bit on if today, right, Chuan you get an average ballot number. So it'll be in between. I got a feeling, right, there will be this camp of people that they're kind of not sure what to do. So I just want to address that today. So if today, right, you get a, let's say, average ballot number for Chuan, it's not too good, but it's not bad also. It's like you cannot really choose whatever unit you want, but you are still able to buy certain 2-bedroom sizes that very likely would have already been sold out on the actual Chuan launch day. But at the same time, it's like you can't really choose the unit you want. So I think it's somewhat average, but you still have units to buy. So I think at this point, right, you really have to think for yourself, because from what I recall, Chuan PSF is slightly lower than say Emerald of Katong. So if Chuan PSF is slightly lower, right, very likely you'll be able to buy a slightly bigger unit at Chuan as compared to Emerald of Katong. Okay, so I mean this is assuming is same bedroom sizes. Okay, so if today you are fighting for the same units at Emerald of Katong, very likely you might be priced out because the PSF at Emerald of Katong is slightly higher. And of course you must take into account the harmonization, but I would say more or less it will be a slightly higher PSF at the Katong area itself for sure. Yeah. Then maybe you feel like you have average number at Chuan, then you still think, hey, why not I just wait for AOK, because I might still be able to get a good ballot number. Then this one you will forgo your average number at Chuan already. So I think if today you feel like you are okay forfeiting the average number at Chuan, and you're okay to not get any unit at the end, which is didn't buy Chuan or AOK, right, I think you'll be totally okay, because at least you already have a very firm strategy in mind. But if today you forgo your number that's average at Chuan, and then you still get a bad ballot number at AOK, but then you will regret that, hey, I shouldn't have let go of my average ballot number at Chuan, right? Then I think this is something that you already must have in mind. Okay, like you don't regret in the end, because I know from Chuan and Emerald of Katong's interest level, right, I feel like you'll be a 60 to 70% sold for each project one. So very likely the smaller bedrooms, the 2 bedrooms, the 1 bedroom, and the smaller 3 bedrooms, right, you'll be like sold out on the actual day one. This is my prediction. Okay, like you see Norwood Grand. So I was there on the launch day itself with my client, right. Norwood Grand, right, it was very unique because the 3 bedrooms was actually selling faster than the 2 and 1 bedrooms. So that one was quite surprising to me, because I would always think that the smaller bedrooms will move first. So judging from this similar Chuan Park and EOK, right, I will also expect the smaller 3 bedrooms for these two projects to move very fast. So I think today if you're aiming for a 2-bedder, then your number is like quite behind, right? I think don't have to worry too much because a lot of the buyers are also aiming for the 3 bedrooms. So as similar thing, if you're 3 bedroom, if your budget only can buy the smaller 3 bedroom, right, then I feel like if your number is behind, very likely you won't stand a good chance already. So I think either you must move up your budget to the bigger 3 bedrooms, or you can consider the slightly smaller 2 bedrooms. Slightly bigger 2 bedrooms at Chuan Park or EOK. So I think this is something that you guys have to think about already. Whether if you don't have the small 3 bedrooms compact for your budget, right, because already sold out before your turn, would you still consider a bigger 2 bedroom or you consider a bigger 3 bedroom? This is something that you really need to have in mind before you go in a booking day itself. Okay, so last but not least, I'll be covering if today you have a bad ballot number for Chuan Park and a bad ballot number for EOK, and you really want to buy something. So like I said, this is the 4th quadrant. You didn't manage to buy Emerald of Katong or Chuan Park because both of your ballot number is bad. So right now, I want you to think about a possible alternative. If let's say Nava Grove is something that you can consider, and have you already placed a check for Nava Grove? If you haven't, you can kind of look for me now. Yeah, but I'm just saying, if let's say you haven't put a 3rd check yet, right, why not consider putting for Nava Grove as well? Because anyway, you're just putting a check and then you want to see a better number ma. So why I would suggest putting a check for Nava Grove as well? Because you see today, right, we have an unprecedented 6 launches coming up in the next 2 weeks. Developers they are only giving you this PSF and Quantum today, right? I am very sure it's because they are all launching at the same time. If let's say next year you're looking at the Toa Payoh plot, which is the Ori, or Clementi plot, which is the Alta, and then one more is the Tampines one, which is the Parktown Residences. I think they will be launching at different periods, and judging from the response at Chuan Park and Emerald of Katong, the developers confirm won't be pricing so attractively because they know that there is a lot of pent-up demand, pent-up buyers, and buyers are ready to already look into the market already. So right now, today, we have unprecedented 6 launches launching at the same time. Is Nava Grove something that you can consider in terms of area and pricing? So if yes, then why not consider Nava Grove as well as a 3rd option? It's a backup lah. Then you at least you give yourself more option, so that you won't regret. Because I can tell you, right, Nava Grove, it will still sell out the units one, like the good units. For example, we look at Pine Tree Hill, right? You see the remaining 2-bedroom supply over there. There isn't much 2-bedroom supply anymore. So those cheaper Nava Grove 2-bedroom units, definitely they will sell on the actual day itself for the launch day. So I think this is something that if you're looking at purely investment, then you don't really mind certain areas, just looking purely at the numbers, right? You can definitely put in a check for a third chance. So I think you see, if let's say if you have this mentality, right, then maybe in Nava Grove you also will have a lot of duplicate checks ma. But I think this is something that I want you to take note, because you see, right, today if let's say you really love Emerald of Katong, but you didn't manage to get a good ballot number, means you won't be able to get a good pricing for it. You can still buy Emerald of Katong in the resale market. You must understand this. But then, how do you actually buy in the resale market if you are paying maybe 200k to 300k higher than today's price? You want to hedge against that, right? So why not you can buy a unit at maybe at Chuan Park or Chuan Park or Nava Grove, right? Then with maybe the future profits from either Chuan Park or Nava Grove, you are still able to buy your desired unit at Emerald of Katong in the resale market. Then you can have your own stay there. But if you take into the mentality that, wow, if I didn't manage to buy Emerald of Katong today, then I don't want to buy already. But you must think about the price 3 to 4 years down the road when it hits the resale market. If you know that Emerald of Katong today, right, if the pricing is attractive, also maybe at Chuan Park and Nava Grove, the pricing is attractive today, and very likely 3 to 4 years down the road, you'll be buying at a higher price, then it's very important that today you hedge yourself against today's prices. Because if you don't buy in today, right, very likely for all of these 3 projects, you'll be buying at a higher price and higher PSF in 3 to 4 years time. So you can even adopt this strategy is you swap, at least you still profit from Nava Grove or Chuan Park, then you swap to EOK, something like this. So I think very likely you don't have to limit yourself to one particular project. If you're really looking for own stay, this is something that I propose to my clients. But at the same time, I think this is something you have to take note if you are comfortable, because of course there is transaction cost related to when you buy and sell properties. So I think this is very important. You already must think of all these strategies before you even go for the Chuan Park's booking day and when you get the ballot number for Chuan Park. Because like I said, right now we are at these 6 launches at the same time for this current 2 weeks. And we won't see this same thing happening for next year already. Next year, maybe even if they launch all at the same time, maybe only 2 or 3 launches within the same month, but you won't see 6 at the same time. So I think this is definitely an opportunity for buyers looking around in today's market. So right now is you need to have a very firm strategy in place and make sure you maximize whatever ballot numbers that you have for yourself and increase your chances for entering this property cycle instead of entering 3 to 4 years down the road. So this is something that you have to consider already, right? Okay, so right now I'll be going through with you what I've done for my clients. This is an example that I've done for Walkaway price for Emerald Katong 3 bedrooms. But I also have done for my clients at Chuan Park with the resale nearby at Lorong Chai area, and also for Nava Grove as well. So I think this is something that is very important. You already know your strategy. So you see, right, for example, this is the transacted prices at Tembusu Grand. So you see here, the cheapest 3-bedroom unit at Tembusu Grand already sold at 2.288 million, and then the PSF is 2.3k PSF. And then we have a maximum price of 2.552 million and the max PSF of 2577. And then for the 3 plus study, we have 2.7 million and then 2308 PSF. Maximum price we are looking at almost 3 million, 2.976 million, and then the PSF we are looking at around 2.5k PSF range, 2536. So I think these are all very important points, because today if you're buying into Emerald of Katong, you don't want to be overpaying for this particular bedroom type and bedroom PSF. So over here is the remaining stock for the 3 bedrooms at Tembusu Grand. So I think this is something that you have to take note. If today, right, maybe you didn't get a very good ballot number at Emerald of Katong, then actually why not? If you really like the location, you can still consider Tembusu Grand, because Tembusu Grand, right, is still a very attractive PSF at 22 PSF, 2.6 million quantum, and then for the bigger one, we still got 2.3k PSF and almost 2.7 million quantum. So I think this is something that you really must strategize really, because right now I can tell you, for those people that didn't get a good ballot number for Emerald of Katong and they really want Katong area, they will straight away go for this remaining stock at Tembusu Grand already, because to them location is more important and they want to hedge for themselves. Because right now, if Emerald of Katong, the smaller 3-bedroom store already, right, then they don't really have a choice for the new supply anymore, unless you wait for 3 to 4 years for the remaining plots to be launched. Okay, so right now we look at what I've done for the smaller 3-bedroom sizes at Emerald of Katong. So this one is the 883 square feet and 904 square feet. So this one, right, I did out this matrix here. It's starting from 21xx PSF but I just put 2150 so that it's in between. And very likely the developer might even price it at 2.19. Okay, so at least now you know that this is the starting from pricing for Emerald of Katong. So I think this is a very good thing to work with. Okay, so now you see, right, I have highlighted green color here and then red color here for Emerald of Katong. So why I've highlighted these 2 colors, right, is for the PSF is because I calculated, I go and change the Tembusu Grand, right, minimum PSF then I add in about 5%. So this is what we get for starting from for Emerald of Katong, and then the maximum PSF I add also like about 5%, 8% range to get this. I just round up so this is like the max range for Emerald of Katong. So this one will be a reference point in regards to Tembusu Grand. So you see, right, if anything from 2.4k downwards, it is a no-brainer to buy at Emerald of Katong. This is how I will tell my clients, because already transacted a more expensive PSF at Emerald of Katong, Tembusu Grand. So I think this is a very good strategy you have in place. But then if today, right, your number not that good, then what you are left with is on the higher range already, because this one maybe is the remaining units, your ballot number not that good for Emerald of Katong. Then at 2.8k PSF, right, you have in mind, at least you know that this is something transacted already at Tembusu Grand. So very likely what you buy today here, it still might not be overpriced, because there are still buyers that are looking to enter at this particular pricing. But I want you to take note, right? You see, if today you can buy a smaller 3-bedroom at 2.8k PSF, right, then why not you consider the bigger 3-bedroom at Tembusu Grand at 2.2k PSF? So I think these are some stuff that you have to already have in mind. Hey, why instead of you go for 2.8k PSF, you go for 2.2k at Tembusu Grand. The PSF range of about 500 plus, 600 plus, why you want to be overpaying for this particular unit at EOK? So I think this is something that you already must have in mind, so that you won't kanchiong, you won't make the wrong decision. Because I can tell you, right, if today you buy at 2.8k PSF for Emerald of Katong, and then you have a unit at Tembusu Grand selling at 2.2k PSF, right, which one do you think is easier to exit in the resale market in the future? So I think the answer is very clear. So right now, if you have this kind of similar situation and you don't know what to do, right, you can feel free to reach out to me, because I think this is something that you definitely need to consider. And I can tell you, people that never buy, people that didn't have a good ballot number for Emerald Katong, right, and then they walk away, they will very strongly consider this Tembusu Grand unit already. So why not you beat the crowd and then you look for something and maybe at Tembusu Grand, maybe for the 2-bedders, for the 3-bedders. So I think this is something that you need to consider already beforehand, before you even go for Emerald of Katong's booking day itself, because you already know your ballot number, and from there you know what is your unit type that you can buy. Because if it's further behind, will my chances of entering at the low PSF, will it still be good? Or is there other alternatives that don't need balloting number to go through? So this is definitely something that you have to already consider beforehand. So I think this timeline and cash flow is very, very important. You already sort this out before you go for your booking day, especially at Chuan Park. Because right, I have my client that asked me, hey Sinric, actually I want to use my CPF for the initial down payment for Chuan Park. But then the remaining 5%, maybe they call upon the foundation stage later on, right? I want to use cash. Do take note, right? For down payment, right, it is always following this cash flow. It must be cash, then CPF, then loan. It's like you cannot use your CPF first and then after that you use cash. So you see, right, I think this is very important. So let's say you see, right, over here, the completion, you will put 20%. Okay, so this example is for a $2 million purchase. So this 20%, right, plus stamp duty, you will need a total of 469k. So this 469k, right, if today you choose to use CPF, right, when they call for the foundation stage top up, which is 5%, and it is 6 months from the launch date, you only can use CPF for this 100k. You cannot use cash. So if right now you are telling me you are limited on CPF, and then total you still have the same amount, total of cash and CPF, you still can pay for the down payment. You must use cash first. You cannot use CPF first, because if today you use CPF first, right, you cannot use cash for this remaining 100k already. And if your CPF, you cannot save up 100,000 by the time you developer call for the foundation stage, you are in trouble already. So I think I don't want this to happen to you. So make sure you have your order of flow of payments already settled beforehand, because right now I think this is very important. I was quite surprised that people also don't know this particular cash flow, that you must draw your cash and then you can draw your CPF. So if right now you are banking on saving up more cash to build up for this 100k 6 months later, you are in very big trouble, because right now I can tell you very likely you don't have enough funds to pay for $2 million property. Okay, so you must take note, this is very important. Okay, so now I'll just be going through with you the the timeline and cash flow in proper lah. So this is assuming for $2 million property, okay? So today, right, you see, if let's say Chuan, right, we are looking to book on the 10th of November. On the booking day itself, you need to prepare about 100,000 already, okay? So plus minus depending on purchase price. And then today, that's why I want my clients to minimize this cancellation penalty. If today, right, you because of FOMO and all that, right, you put in 100,000, yes, you can get back a partial refund of 75,000, but why would you want to lose 25,000 for no good reason? Because this, I think, is really can be easily avoided already. Okay, so that is one thing to take note. And then second thing is from 3 days from the booking, right, can be plus minus. Very likely you will receive a SMP. So the sales and purchase agreement, you will be delivered to the law firm from the developer. So I think this one you have to communicate with your law firm and your agent to know which one you need to maybe delay a few days more, etc. And then the OTP will be churned out on the actual day, and then we will deliver it to our clients personally lah. Okay, on top of that, right, we also have up to 21 days to receive the SMP from the law firm from the developer. So I think this one, if you need to delay, maybe you need time to go and withdraw your cash from stocks or investments, you can let your law firm or agent know so that they can plan the timeline for you lah. So we have estimated up to 3 weeks, right? Then over here, then you will need to exercise your SMP. So you have to do this at the law firm lah. Okay, so after you exercise your SMP already, right, you have up to 2 weeks to pay your buyer's stamp duty. So for the $2 million purchase, we are looking at about 69,000 or 70k lah. And then this one will be from 14 days when you exercise the sales and purchase agreement at the law firm itself. So after that, this whole entire process, you can see, right, is estimated about 8 weeks from the booking day at Chuan, let's say. So you see today, right, 10th of November, we'll be looking at about 18th of December to pay the buyer's stamp duty for this particular purchase. And then remaining will be the 15% will be upon completion, which we estimate is about 5th of Jan lah. Of course, you can plus minus accordingly, but we estimate about 5th of Jan. Then from here, we'll be looking at extra 300,000. So for this, like I just now mentioned, it will be important to know whether you're using cash first or using CPF first. If you're using CPF first, then you cannot use CPF. I mean, you can only use CPF for this remaining part already, and you cannot use cash. So this one is very important. You have to take note. Okay. Then over here, it will be the total sum for a $2 million purchase, which is 469k. So you must already prepare this beforehand, and then later on, it will be 6 months estimate will be or the calling for the foundation payment. So you see, we'll be looking at around May period, Q2 2025 for the foundation payment. So by then, you already need to prepare a sum of 569,000 so far. Okay, so of course the difference is 100k from the completion for the purchase in January itself. Yeah, so this is the entire flow of the funds you need to prepare of before you need to make a purchase. So I think this is a very good thing you have to already know beforehand. Okay, if you haven't gone through before we're booking, then definitely I feel like you are under-prepared. And if you need a second opinion, feel free to reach out to me. I have already gone through all the numbers and the cash flow timing that you need, because I think this is very important because it can potentially make or break your deal. Okay, so this is the second part after the initial down payment, right? This one will be the progressive payment rates, alright? So progressive payment, one thing I want you to take note, this is example for a $2 million property, right? So you see over here, they will be estimating around May 2025 to call for foundation period. So foundation, right, you'll be looking at estimate maybe about 6 months, you'll be paying off a 477 monthly installment. So of course this one will depend a lot on the builder's progress. So this 6 months is purely an estimate. Of course it can be slower, it can be faster, but I think this is an estimate, is a good guide for you to know what is an estimated monthly installment. Then you can see here, right, basically here, this 100k will be your down payment. Then here will be the next important point I want you to take note. So I want you to take note, right, this particular part, this loan disbursement by the bank, you can see here upon foundation stage, right, they'll be calling for 5% already. So you can see for 5%, the loan disbursed by the bank will be 100,000. Then after that, right, the second stage will be framework in the next 6 months. So we predict maybe November 2025. So this is where the bank will disperse the next 10% and another 200k in terms of loan. So you can see over here, because of this additional 200k loan, right, your monthly installment is plus 800 plus. So this one is you need to visualize, right, every 100k loan for this particular purchase, you increase your monthly mortgage by 477. So you can see here, because they increase the loan by another 200k, so it will be 477 times 2. Then you add on to this lah. So that's how you get this 1432 PSF. I mean 1432 monthly mortgage payment. So for example, if today, right, I have a client that maybe think, hey, instead of getting this 100k loan, why not I pay off this 100k first, so that for this stage I'll be paying 0. Then this stage, right, I'll be getting 1432 minus 477. So why my client potentially might be considering this? Because I have calculated for them, right, the estimated monthly interest that they will be paying, right, all the way until TOP. So this one I've already done up the total interest payment. So I think this is very important, particularly if you are looking to invest in the property market for the new launch. These are all very real costs. You have to estimate your monthly interest, and if you don't know what you are dealing with, how much interest you're paying in the future, right, then I feel like you're totally doing it wrong for a property investor. Because you see, when we reach the later stage, car park, right, so this one will be estimated 3 months. What if this 3 months is longer? If let's say it's 6 months or even 12 months, you'll be paying almost 2.3k interest per month, and monthly installments is 3.3k. If you're an investor, it's very important to calculate in terms of net profit after minusing off your estimated monthly interest. So I think if today you haven't done the proper math as to how much monthly interest you're paying, right, then I think you're doing it wrong already, because it means that you haven't done an adequate enough assessment in terms of the calculation and the projected monthly installments. Because here, I think it's very easy to just note that, oh, you know, here monthly installment 477, 1.4k, 1.9, 2.3, 2.8, and 3.3. So if definitely this monthly installment you are comfortable with it, I think there's no issue. But what I want to dig deeper, right, is really the estimated monthly installment in terms of the interest and in terms of monthly principal. So I have already compared for my clients. If today they pay off this 100k, will you actually save off more interest? Or if you use this 100k to pay off, if you use this 100k to pay off in terms of loan, is it more worth it? Or is it, if you put this 100k in terms of your FD, is it more worth it? So I've already calculated, because you see, right, today you pay off this 100k, your installment will be 0 here. So it will have a cascading effect. Everything here will be minus 477 all the way downwards to before the TOP. So this one is, you need to take note how much monthly installment you're paying, then the interest portion, right, then you can do your math from there lah. Yeah, so this is how I approach in terms of progressive payment, because I don't think it's fair to just purely look at monthly mortgage repayment. That one is very surface level. I would like to go deeper into that, because for me, if I were to make a purchase today, I would also like to go into knowing how much monthly interest payment I'm gonna make per month lah. Okay, so right now, right, I'll be covering on what I have prepared for my clients for the site plan on the actual day itself. So this one already will help us a lot in terms of our elimination process. Okay, so let me show you now. So you see, right, I think it's very important to already have a rough sensing of what is the entire area. So these are the particular facings that I feel that is very important if you want to take note. Okay, so you see, right, here I put in the major important points. So landed facing, playground facing, then you see Golden Hill Park 20-story high, HDB 9-story high. Spring Bloom, we are looking at 17 stories. Scala 17 stories. And then we have the Nanyang JC, we'll be facing towards the field, and this is non-road facing as well. So I think all these things you already have in mind, right? Then I think it's easy for you to know likely how the developer is going to price for each particular facing and each particular stack. So for my clients, I've already done the entire prediction, right, for the stacks in terms of which one is the most expensive and then to the cheapest one. So for example, like say you're looking at the 3-beders, I've already labeled every particular stack, right? Which one is the cheapest, which one is the most expensive, and if for example, based on my analysis, I found something that maybe it's a bit undervalued because the developer priced it almost the same as the better facing, and then maybe you should go for the better facing one, something like that. Okay, then I think one important question is, if today you have a high floor unit with a worse facing versus a low floor unit and a good facing, which one to choose? So this one I've already also preempt my clients, prepare this beforehand before we go into the booking, so that you know that I will still prefer a high floor over a low floor unit, even if the facing is better. And then of course I will give you my own expert opinion in terms of this and how I already have seen this play out in the resale market, because I've been doing quite a bit of recently TOP projects, right? Like for example, Foreign at Bukit Timah, all this. So all these recently TOP projects already give me a sensing of what the resale buyers are looking at when the project TOP. So I already know, for example, today if you have the option to buy maybe a smaller 2-bedroom or bigger 2-bedroom, how will it fare in the resale market? This one I already know because on the ground, I have seen the units transacted for the smaller 2-bedroom and the bigger 2-bedroom. I know which one will move faster, which one will move slower. So I think in the end, buying is easy. Okay, you must always think about the exiting itself. So today, you must make sure you have already covered all this and you know exactly what is the strategy. And very importantly, as I stressed just now, if the PSF or price is over a certain point, what's your own walkaway price and PSF? I think this is something that you already need to have in mind so that you won't be overwhelmed by emotions on the booking day itself. That's something unique lah. So I've talked about the particular facing for this because this one got slight west sun. At the same time, this one maybe have a good unblocked view because it will take about 6 floors to fully clear NJC. So I have all these little notes for this entire site plan, right, that I have prepared for my clients, and this is something I feel is very important when it comes to the actual day itself. All these small notes, it will make or break your buying process on the actual day one. Okay, so now how to determine a walkaway price? Example I'll be using is Chuan Park. Okay, so for Lorong Chuan, right, this is the 2-bedroom past performance. This is purely resale, right? So over here we can see from 2015 all the way to 2024, past 10 years in the resale market, we are already looking at a potential. We are looking at a profit of 59%. So in the resale market, it is so strong already. Okay, so when people ask me whether Lorong Chuan 2-bedroom can buy, I'll just show them this. In the resale market, we are already experiencing almost 60% growth for over 10-year period. And do bear in mind, these are definitely all the older condos already. There is nothing new for the past 10 plus years. So how to determine the walkaway price for Chuan Park, right? I take a recent example that is along the Circle Line. Okay, so why I take Jadescape versus Season View, right? Because Jadescape, it is one of the most highly profitable projects for the 2-bedrooms. Okay, and Season View, you see the age is about year 2000, and then Jadescape, they launched in 2018. So that time the gap was about 18 years. So this is a very similar situation to what we see at Chuan Park versus maybe Spring Bloom, Chiltern Park. So these are the examples I will use. Okay, so now we dive deeper into it, right? Jadescape, you see they TOP in 2022. So back then when they launched in 2018, we are looking at average PSF of 1674 PSF for the 2-bedrooms. I only using 2-bedrooms for my analysis for this because my buyers were looking for a 2-bedroom. So Seasons View is right beside Jadescape over here. So Seasons View, right, TOP year 2000. So back in 2018, right, the PSF that Seasons View had was 1027. So actually now when you look back, I had buyers that look at Jetscape, right, and they felt like, wow, Jetscape need to pay 600 PSF higher than Seasons View. Might as well I buy Seasons View, makes more sense, right? What's the in terms of risk? Isn't it more risky to buy Jetscape over Seasons View? So right here, I have plotted out, right, for Jetscape versus Seasons View, all the 2-bedroom PSF, okay? So over here, right, just want you to take note, back in 2018 over here, when Jetscape launched, so you can see this blue color bar is the volume for Jetscape. So Jetscape versus Seasons View, right, they have a premium of 63%. So if back then, if you don't know what is Jetscape's profits today, right, you dare to buy Jetscape is already commanding 63% premium. So what premium did Jetscape buyers pay over Seasons View to get that amount of profits over the years? I have already done this in-depth calculation in terms of percentage per year for Jetscape versus Seasons View, right? So for this similar data point, I use it to replicate it at Chuan Park area. So I already have the numbers, right? My clients, they have the exact walkaway price because they know what was the pricing premium that people paid for Jetscape over Seasons View in terms of percentage, and then I extrapolate it towards Chuan Park area. So for Chuan Park, I already know which is the so-called PSF range that my buyers would potentially look at to have similar profits if Jetscape were to perform as well as for Chuan Park area. And I do see very similar points because you see Jetscape in the area, right, there also wasn't anything new nearby which is of similar size. Whereas Seasons View, like Chuan Park area, right, you see Chuan Park area, it is also only the newest one that is this kind of land size for Lorong Chai area. So I do foresee it in terms of the supply and demand there, very similar situation to the Marymount area itself. So you can see Jetscape in the end, right, 2018 all the way to today, we are looking at 30% profit. Of course, you can say the same thing. Hey, actually I buy Seasons View, Seasons View also 38% profit. Actually, you make even more profits for Seasons View compared to Jetscape. So why would you buy Jetscape over Seasons View? So I think this is something that you have to take note, because in terms of financing, first thing is Jetscape, right, will be doing progressive payment. Whereas for Seasons View, you'll be paying the full mortgage installment already. Of course, if you are telling me that today, if you are buying into Jetscape and then you really don't like the idea of renting, then I think no choice already. Seasons View does make more sense, but do bear in mind, on top of paying full monthly installments, for Seasons View, right, you also need to factor into renovation costs. So I think this is something very important. You as a buyer or investor, you really need to know, right, what is the potential resale competition that you have. So one thing I also want to bring to your attention, right, is you see basically the blue color bars, which is all this, they are the volume for Jetscape. But now I want you to look at the volume for Seasons View. You can see, right, these are the very small pink color bar. So what am I trying to say here? If today, right, you are investor and then you buy Seasons View, yes, you will have profited more, 38% over time, but you haven't accounted for in terms of the interest that you have paid compared to Jetscape. So interest is one thing. What about potential renovation costs that your buyer have to pay? Because if they compare to Jetscape to Seasons View, definitely the renovation cost for Seasons View is higher. And one more thing to take note, right, why the volume for Seasons View is so low is because of this renovation cost. If today you have a buyer, why not you buy a new project, like new resale project like Jetscape that just you need TOP, so you probably don't have to spend so much on renovation, and maybe the facilities, all this will be much more newer as compared to Seasons View. It will be much more ideal place to stay and save you the hassle. So as a result, right, it's very clear that the volume which one will be easier to exit? If you ask me just based on this, to me, Jetscape, right, even though you're paying higher PSF, you still get decent growth as compared to Seasons View, and at the same time, it will make your exit strategy a lot easier. So I think this is something that you have to take note. You see, today, there is nothing wrong from buying Seasons View, even though old condo, you can buy one. But which one is easier to exit? Which one is easier to sell? Okay, so you can see here, Seasons View, right, also this quarter, right, totally no transaction already, because I think people are still looking at Jetscape to make their purchase, which is why you see there is a very constant volume over here. But for Seasons View, right, this past 2 quarters are totally die off already. It could be a supply thing, it could be demand thing. Okay, so right now we have is the Jetscape's 2 bedrooms profitability. So I will just say here, you see the range is 400 plus K to 300 plus K. So congrats to those that actually made their move back then, even though Jetscape, you're paying almost 63% higher for a similar 2 bedroom at Seasons View. So of course, Seasons View, you need the 2 bedroom will be bigger. So I think this is a very similar scenario that I see for Lorong Chuan area, because Lorong Chuan Park, the 2 bedroom is definitely smaller than the resale 2 bedrooms over there. But in terms of PSF, we already still see a 60% gap. And in fact, Chuan Park itself, the gap is not as big as Jetscape versus Seasons View. So I think this is something that you all have to take into account. In terms of price gap, right, it's a very poor gauge one. It's like, you see, Jetscape, they pay 60% more, but they are still earning 400 plus K, 300 plus K. So this is something that you have to take note if you are a buyer and then you're using price gap in terms of your analysis. Okay, so right now, in conclusion, right, this is purely for the 2 bedroom situation at Jetscape. I mean, 2 bedroom situation at Chuan Park. So if we take the case study of Jetscape, right, we are looking at 63% more expensive than Seasons View in terms of PSF back in 2018. So what was the premium that Jetscape buyers pay over Seasons View to get the same amount of profits over the years? And then today, right, we are still looking at Jetscape being 52% more expensive than Seasons View today. So you see, even if you pay for a higher PSF, your project is not gonna tank immediately one. It's more of how much the gap can maintain over the years. So I think you must enter with this perspective if today you feel like the PSF gap is your main mind block, alright? So right now, I think very important question is there a similar situation happening in Chuan Park? I can tell you for sure there is. So what is the premium you are paying at Chuan Park over the resale, nearby resale condos? So for this, I have already done up the full math and calculation as well as analysis for my clients. So if today you are lacking in this, then I feel like you are not prepared for what you are going to buy at Chuan Park itself. So if today we are able to find out the premium for per PSF per year and then replicate it, right, we will already know what is a safe margin to enter for Chuan Park and what PSF to walk away. So for this, I've already done the full math, and my clients, they are in a very good position, and they don't have this fear or FOMO factor already. They know that, oh, this is a very well thought out process, and we already know this is the procedure in order to replicate the success at Jetscape. So last but not least, I would want to emphasize you have a very clear game plan going into booking, and don't buy based on feel. I feel that always if you buy based on feeling, if you really like the place, go ahead, because this is not where I can put my value in. If today you feel like you want to make a very systematic and logical decision based purely on numbers, this is where I can value add to you. And if you feel like you need this portion, feel free to reach out to me, okay? This is very important. You have your game plan right before your booking day. And what about Emerald of Katong? Of course, there is Tembusu Grand comparison, but if people that bought Tembusu Grand, what was the strategy before that? Are you comparing to the resale there? You know, what about head court? You know, so what is the strategy and what is the price premium buffer you have? So if you are lacking for Emerald of Katong in this particular sense, or even Nava Grove, feel free to reach out to me, okay? Okay, so right now we have come to the end of my sharing for Chuan Park, and also want to take note for Emerald of Katong and Nava Grove. So I hope you found my sharing today useful, and if you found it useful and you want a second opinion, or you haven't visited the show flat for even Emerald of Katong or Nava Grove, right? Feel free to scan the QR code and we can head down to the show flat. Or if you just want to do the calculation and the math for your own particular budget as well as whichever bedroom type, feel free to reach out to me, alright? So with that, that's it for my sharing today, and I hope you found it useful. You can drop a like and subscribe also, and that's it for me. Alright, bye!